what just happened is extremely bullish for cryptocurrency. Some people are actually saying that it is more bullish than the spot ETF being approved. And honestly, I think it is really good for us and takes a lot of the risk out of the market. I want to talk about that. We also have a lot of other extremely bullish news and a lot of good news, a lot of news that we should cover, a lot of pieces of information we should cover before that too, because there's just a lot going on. Bitcoin is touching that resistance, that $38,000 resistance. We've seen it hit twice, and there's just so much momentum in the market. I want to talk about all this. Stay through to the end, if you don't mind. Also, while you're down there, there's a link to Trezor. They have their best discount of the entire year. I always have the best discounts because I give away all my affiliate commission. But this week, I actually get paid if you sign up or if you buy a Trezor wallet. There's no code needed. Just use the links underneath the video. You can save up to 40%. So if you're someone that is just getting into crypto, or maybe you've been in for a while and you've just kept it on exchanges, this is the time to buy a cold storage wallet. It's so much safer. You'll be so much safer for the bull market. You won't lose all your crypto. Or if you're someone that maybe thinks your wallet's going to get a lot bigger, maybe you have $5,000, but you realize that you could be worth $50,000. Your crypto could 10x over the next year. Maybe you want to get a cold storage wallet or a second one to diversify a little bit just in case something happens. Or if you want to buy it for someone else that got into crypto or a Christmas gift. There's so many different reasons to buy, but definitely check that out underneath the video. This is the biggest sale of the year, and it's only on for 7 days. I just made a video with them too. You can actually buy, and also you can trade between cryptos in the app, so you never have to do withdrawals out of exchanges, which is super nice. If you haven't seen that video, check it out. It's one of my last videos on the channel. And as you can see here, 30% off on the Model 1, and there's also 30% off on the Model T. I have links to both of those, so instead of $69, you're paying $48. It's a great deal. It's also linked under to Margex. I'm not saying this is right for everyone, but in case you want to trade leverage, there's no KYC, and you don't need a VPN. I just recently did a trade, got 22% on it. I'm not saying it's easy, but I am saying that this is a way to work on your technical analysis. I am also saying it's a way that you can make some pretty good returns. So check that out underneath the video. It's super easy to use. I did a video review on it recently. And if you want to know what I'm buying and selling, there's a link to the Patreon. For some reason, they recently allowed people to get in for free, but they can't get access to anything on my channel. So I'm not really sure why they did that, but I can't turn it off. But if you want to know what I'm buying and selling, you can become a paid member. Recently, I've been talking about how I've been buying Seedify, and it's up like 80% since my first buy. So if you had bought $12 worth of Seedify when I said that, you would have paid for your first month. So definitely check that out underneath the video. Now, as I said, crypto is looking really bullish. Like, I think people they're not as tuned in right now as they were maybe a week or two ago, because we're at this 37.5, and it just seems like we've been fluctuating. But the thing is, it's only going to take like an hour, and we're going to burst through 38,000 at some point, and then everyone will be dialed back in like, why is it going up? So you want to be paying attention right now. I mean, right now, the whole market is up a decent amount. I mean, the last 24 hours, a lot of cryptos are up 5 to 10%, but nothing is going up huge, except for some smaller cryptos like Seedify. I mean, this is up 20% in the last day, over the last 7 days, 36% over the last month, 205%. Someone asked me if I think it's too late to get into Seedify. I don't think so. I mean, it's still just a $100 million market cap. Now, would it have been better if you had bought the first time that I was talking about buying? Yeah, of course it would have been. But there's no way of knowing the future. So it's probably best just to dollar cost average into projects like this that you feel very strongly about. And that's what some big institutions are doing. The weekly crypto asset flows are looking really good. I mean, this is another week of 176 million. Most of it going into Bitcoin, a decent amount going into Solana, 13.6 million. That's 135 million for the year. So people keep on piling in Solana, a little bit going into Ethereum, multi-asset, Cardano, XRP, Litecoin, and then some coming out of short Bitcoin. So that is actually really positive. As I've said a lot of times, this I kind of treat as the opposite of whatever it's doing, because it's betting against Bitcoin. So money flowing out of this is kind of like money flowing into this, in my opinion. So you almost doubled this and then add it. So it's almost like we had 190 million in my mind this week in inflows. Now, I realize I'm kind of teasing that super bullish thing. I will get to it. This is also really bullish. This isn't the thing I'm talking about. This happened last night, but the new president of Argentina was elected, and it's Javier Milei. He was kind of neck and neck with the other guy that was also pro Bitcoin, but he is ultra bullish. He says, with legal tender, they can scam you with the inflationary tax. Bitcoin is the natural reaction against central bank scammers to make money private again. I watched this video. It's super interesting. The guy knows what he's talking about. He's not someone that was just given bullet points on Bitcoin like we see a lot of, I think, U.S. Politicians, just so that they can accept Bitcoin as payment, so that way someone can feel super cool and donate $1 million or something like that in Bitcoin. No, he knows what he's talking about. And I think it makes sense because a lot of people in the U.S., they look at Bitcoin as an investment. A lot of people outside the U.S. in countries like this think of it as a safe haven. They have 100+% inflation, 120% inflation, 150% inflation. They need to know about things like Bitcoin because that is a safe haven. Look at this. Their GDP is massive. I mean, not compared to the US, but when you compare it to something like El Salvador, it's so much bigger. They're about 40% the size of Mexico in terms of GDP. So this could make a huge difference if they were to use something like Bitcoin, if they were to use it as a alternative to their own currency. And he's talking about abolishing their central bank and using something like Bitcoin. When you look at how well Bitcoin's done, it has blown past all previous highs. I mean, look at the year to date, 354%. That's a 4.5x from the beginning of the year. So in Argentinian pesos, it was worth under 3 million at the beginning of the year. Now it's worth 13.3 million. It's way past where it was back in 2020 as well. It's more than 2x since then. So it makes sense. I know I've talked about it a number of times, but this is extremely bullish. Now, Max Keiser's saying, who's obviously a really big Bitcoin bull, saying that there are 3 countries that he sees very soon adopting Bitcoin as legal tender. I wouldn't be surprised if Argentina is one of them. Bitcoin continues to blow past all-time highs. This is the Bitcoin hash rate. It's up 169% year to date. And I can attest to this. I have a miner, not the space heater that I have here, but I have another miner that is mining less and less Bitcoin all the time. So it's difficult because there's always that amount of profitability that miners make. And there are more miners that get online. It pushes up the price. If the price falls, then more miners come offline, and then we see hash rate go down a little bit. That's probably why we see all these little fluctuations, right? But it's still like the edge of profitability right now. So a lot of people are just betting that Bitcoin's price is going to move up. And yeah, they're okay mining, even if it's just break even, just to get their hands on some more Bitcoin. Now, speaking of getting your hands on some Bitcoin, it's pretty hard to do that these days. The percentage of Bitcoin supply that hasn't moved in at least a year has reached 70% for the first time ever. I just mentioned this. It was at 69% just a few days ago. Finally went up to 70%. That obviously is a nice round number for people to look at. Very positive too. A lot of people just buying and holding long term. Now, let's get on to the super bullish stuff. I'll cover a couple of these things in a minute, but the U.S. seeks more than $4 billion from Binance to end the criminal case. This is what's so bullish. You might be thinking, why is that bullish? I mean, that's $4 billion. We don't know if they really have $4 billion to come out of their pockets, right? That's a huge amount. And that's going to be hard for any exchange to come up with. Well, first of all, they don't have to necessarily take this deal. I think they probably will, or maybe they'll negotiate a little bit. This is being reported from Bloomberg, as I said. They're discussing this now. Now, it's kind of interesting because they're talking about just like finishing the case. They're just ending the case. It's not even like it's gone through a judicial system, it sounds like. Like they've been investigating it. But I wouldn't be surprised if Binance just takes a deal. It's easy enough. They could probably set it up to have some long-term payment option. I'm not super familiar with how they go about negotiating these, but they could set up some maybe 2, 3, 4, or 5 year deal where they pay it back. And the fact is that gives them a lot of time. They can raise money. Like they are money printing machines, especially in a bull market. They can go print a ton of money. They have big coffers. They have a lot of money already. Now, do they have $4 billion? I'm not exactly sure. But if CZ needed to, he could liquidate some assets, I'm sure. Either Binance assets, maybe sells Binance US to a competitor or something like that. I don't know exactly. But the fact is they could come up with $4 billion. They could get debt. They could do all types of things to be able to come up with his money. Now, is there still some risk? Yes. But it's better than it could have been. There's some certainty now. We know that they're willing to make a deal. The U.S. is willing to make a deal for $4 billion. Now, this is a huge amount of money, like I said, but still, they're willing to play ball, and they're not going to try to send CZ to jail, try to bankrupt the company, try to blow up all of crypto. That's not what it sounds like they're trying to do. And after Binance pays this, hopefully, everything is on the up and up from here on out. And it sounds like Binance, coming from the inside, because I've been reached out to by a lot of companies recently, it sounds like they're starting to do some more advertising. So they're trying to expand again. They're trying to grow. So is every freaking exchange out there. I mean, that's something that's super bullish too. We'll come back to some pieces of news here in a second. But just speaking as someone on the inside here, someone that gets a lot of emails when things are bullish, when people are feeling bullish, when companies have money to spend, there are deals that I've never seen even floated around. I'm talking about like 4 video a month deals for a year from some of the largest exchanges out there. They're looking to spend money. Some of the top cryptocurrencies are looking to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on advertising. And that's just for a small group of influencers. They're willing to spend tens of millions of dollars to get eyeballs on their projects again. And they're projects that you've heard of, like ones that people were very bullish on in the last bull run. So it's crazy. People are willing to spend. People are bullish. People are excited. People realize they have to dip in their wallets now because they want to get their name out there because things are moving in the right direction. And a lot of people are willing to start spending some money, which is a good sign. That means that they are bullish as well. I mean, it kind of sucked. This has not been the case the whole bear market. Even when we've seen past runs, there's been nothing like this. There haven't been large companies, large exchanges, large ecosystems, large cryptocurrencies that have been willing to reach in their pockets to start spending millions of dollars like this. I'm telling you, this is getting kind of crazy on the back end. You can see things changing. And I had an interesting conversation with someone that is not super bullish on cryptocurrency, but he's been kind of around the investing space, insurance space for a while. He talked about how most of crypto is still linked to channeling money into like dark places. I'm trying to think of how the phrasing is. He's basically saying that people are still just using it to launder money, right? Tether freezes $225 million in USDT linked to human trafficking group. Now, this is the great thing about crypto. If you want to be decentralized, you can take your crypto off exchanges, right? You can be your own bank. But at this point, a lot of the time it's hard to get money in and out. So there are little checkpoints. So if you are someone that wants to do something illegal, it's still really difficult to do it, which some people don't like. They want full autonomy. They want, they're maybe libertarian or something like that. They don't want anyone to see. But that also makes it a lot more likely that people are willing to allow crypto to continue to grow and flourish. The fact that Tether can do something like this. Now, if you want something really decentralized, don't go into a stablecoin. Like people get up in arms about USDT or USDC freezing assets. These are some of the most centralized stablecoin issuers out there. I don't know why you would put your money in this if you were really worried about it. So I don't think that this is a good argument. And I've been saying this for a long time. People think that people just use crypto to launder money. No, they use crypto because, first of all, it's a growing asset class. Second of all, it's much easier to use to send value across the world, and it's decentralized. There are a lot of different things I could say too, but those are really the reasons. So that's just extremely bullish. One other thing I want to say, we just got the first major applicant in the U.S. race to list a fee of their planned offering for ETFs. This is specifically Cathie Wood's ARK Invest in 21 shares, saying that they would have an annual expense ratio of 0.8%. You might be saying that's really high, and it is compared to like a VOO or a index fund. But you have to realize that there is more risk for these companies because they are actually buying and holding Bitcoin and custodying it. And when you think about how expensive some of the fees are, at least here in the US, a lot of the really low expense exchanges have either gone bankrupt or stopped business here in the US. 0.8% is honestly not that bad. Like, you can pay multiple percent for a lot of exchanges here in the US, especially when you include fees. And you can actually save money on taxes. I'm not an accountant, but you might want to invest in like a solo 401k and buy something like this, or a 401k, Roth IRA, all those. You could invest in something like this a lot easier than you could go buy Bitcoin, right? There are some options to do that, some different companies that help you with that. But for people that want to have those different options, this is a much easier way of going. And like I said, it's a pretty low fee, right? So let me know your thoughts on this underneath the video. Crypto's looking really good right now. Sorry if I don't sound as excited as I should. I am really excited. I'm really tired. There have been some stuff going on, some family things. So just weathering the storm and watching in awe as Bitcoin continues to move up and continues to get more and more bullish news. Let me know all your thoughts on this underneath the video. As I said, check out the link to Treasure. There's no code needed, and you can get up to 40% off. It's an insane deal. It's the best one I've ever seen them publish. And there are links to Margex and to Patreon as well underneath the video. I really appreciate it. Let me know your thoughts on the Binance news. Let me know if you think it's as bullish as I think. I'm not saying that's as bullish as the spot Bitcoin ETF news, if it gets approved, that is. But I am saying that it clears up probably the biggest fear that people have, which is that Binance goes bankrupt, or they have to shut down, or they start selling, liquidating assets, something like that. So let me know your thoughts. Let me know if it alleviates some of your worries in the crypto market, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.